I'm PJ and we are doing Collagraph printing right today. I want to show you a couple of quick prints that young students made. These were elementary students working on cardboard. You can see the cardboard lines. So the cardboard was not covered, it was just fabric glued onto cardboard and then inked and printed. Here's a beautiful beetle. This was cut up socks to create that texture. Sunflower with cardboard petals and a really sweet little butterfly here. So we are going to make some collagraph prints today, and a collagraph comes from the word collage or coller, glue. You glue things onto a plate and then you coat it or cover it and you can ink it and print it. So I want to just show you a little elephant that was created in the same way, just a little silhouette print. Here you have two Arctic collagraphs. This top one of the bird looking at the Inuit prints printed like this. I'll just lay them down over here. And again, those other two, the Inuit prints, you can color your background before you print so that it gives you a finished entire piece of work. So, how do you make a collagraph? The easiest way I have found is to start with a piece of cardboard. You apply some glue on your cardboard, little blob of glue, and you can take another cardboard just to spread that around a little bit with the edge. Now, I have already cut up, this is our dollar store fun foam, and I have already cut up all of these pieces ready to assemble on my collagraph. I want to do a little sunflower image. So I just stick them in the glue, place them where I need them to go, and I just put them all down. It doesn't matter what colors go where. I will be covering this entire cardboard with tinfoil before I ink it. So it doesn't matter the colors that I'm using, but what you might notice about this particular fun foam is that it's textured. There are little stripes across the leaves, and I'm hoping those will show up in the final print. I don't know for sure if they will, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's a bit of a guess. So we're just about done here. I'm placing in the last few. The lovely thing about this method is I don't have to wait for this to dry. I'm going to cover it all off with tinfoil, and so it is a very quick process for you to use in the classroom. You're not left waiting for a lot of everyone's print to dry. So, having done this, I take a piece of tinfoil that is just about an inch or so larger than my cardboard, and I apply a dab of glue to the center of my tinfoil. I can use that cardboard piece, or I could use my tile to scrape. I need this glue to be very thin, a super thin layer of glue. And then I'm going to lay my collagraph onto the glued space. I flip this over. Just going to wipe my fingers off because they're a bit gluey. And I gently burnish the surface and try to press it down with my fingers You can sort of see the image coming up. Another thing you can do is take a paper towel to rub over this, or a piece of fabric. But you're just rubbing. Sometimes what'll happen at this point is the tinfoil might tear. If that happens, you can still go ahead and print. It might mean that you won't get more than 1 or 2 prints, but you should still be able to make at least 1 print like this. So I'm rubbing, and I can see some of the texture coming up on this. You'll probably see it a little better when we print it. Try to use the soft parts of your fingers so that you're less likely to tear the tin foil, and leaving a little bit of creases in the tin foil can add interest to the final design as well. Once you've got everything pressed down as well as you think you can get it, I'm just rubbing with the paper over top to put a little more pressure on. Then you're going to flip your edges around the cardboard. You don't do that at first because it tightens the tin foil, and that's when you get tears sometimes. So you pinch these around after you're happy with the pressure around the image. So this is my little sunflower here. I prepared a paper with sunflower colors to print on. So what I do at this point is ink my plate. Now I had this ink out here from previous printing. You'll find that water-based inks will dry out a little bit. So it's nice to have a little spray bottle. You can rehydrate your inks by spraying them, and then you can take a palette knife, either a metal one or a plastic one, and just scrape your ink just to reconsolidate it. Scrape it all to one end. And I've added a fair bit of water, so this is too much right now. I might have to add a little more ink to this before I roll it. So I'm rehydrating the ink, add a little bit more ink, and then we will print. So there's some more ink. As I roll the ink, I'm gonna get it nice and thick. It's still shiny. I need to get this really thin, and it will go much duller. You can hear that sort of tape ripping sound. I don't want it too thick. If it's too thick, it'll fill in the recessed areas and I won't get a recognizable print. So I think I'm ready. It's almost thin enough. Also notice I'm lifting at each end as I roll. So I will place it onto a clean paper to roll and ink my stamp. And I am ready to place it onto the paper I want to print on. Push down to make sure that the ink has attached itself to the paper. Flip it over. Then use anything with a nice smooth surface to rub your print. So I'm going back and forth. Hold the other end. I make sure that the paper on top can't move, so you always keep a hand on the paper. Little circles, and we're ready to lift off, and we have our little sunflower print from. Now, the nice thing about the tin foil is that that can be rinsed off with a damp paper towel and reprint. So, thank you for joining me.